To access the sales orders area, we go to customers and we go down to sales orders, and we are given a list of sales orders, or there should be a list of sales orders in this summary view here. If we click the All button there, you can see we get a list of sales orders that are currently outstanding, and a little later on I'll show you what you can do with this screen here. To create a new sales order, we click the Add button, and this form is shown. First thing we need to do is we need to choose who the customer that we're raising the sales order is for. So we use this customer here, and all the customer details are fully populated into the sales order. These customer details come from the customer record, which we can cover off in a future session. If you like, you can override any of these customer details as you wish. Otherwise, you can leave them as the default, which I will do here. At the top here, you'll notice there's a sales order number. This generally gets left blank, and we let the computer system, when you save the sales order, generate that number. Then we have the sales order date. This date it defaults to today's date, but you can backdate the sales order. Say the order was placed on the 15th of April, we can type in the 15th of April and put that in. Then we get to a customer reference number. This customer reference number is generally the customer's purchase order number or referral reference number that they use to look up this particular sales order. So I can just populate that with a number. Then we come to two very important fields. We've got delivery date, and we also have delivery period. Generally, we use these fields particularly when you are running multiple drops within a season, so we can, and generally we would recommend that you create one sales order per drop period. So let's say you had a drop in February and a drop in May. You could, in the delivery period, type that in. The delivery period is an ad hoc field, so you can type whatever you like in there, and the customer, if you use the delivery period field, will see this on their sales order when you print it out. However, if you need to be more specific for an internal date, say we're going to deliver this, we're going to tell the customer we're going to deliver this in February, we might decide to deliver this by the 15th of February internally. So it's a more specific field, and this delivery date field is particularly important for sales, for cash flow reporting, so you can look at upcoming sales orders and when they're due to drop. So it's important that you do populate that field. Otherwise, some reports in Niche won't print out, particularly cash flow type reporting when you're wanting to look at delivery dating. Delivery period can also be used to tag your sales orders for reporting purposes and also analysis purposes when you start to work in production, which we'll cover in upcoming sessions. Cancellation date. This is where if your customer demands a certain date, and if it's not delivered by that date, the order will be cancelled. You can record that date there. People use this field for varying reasons. One customer of mine actually uses it, they're a wedding company and they use that as a wedding date. It's another date that you can use to confirm a particular milestone. But if you're a if you are dealing with someone like Myers or David Jones or someone like that, they may enforce an actual cancellation date, which you'll need to populate. Department number again, generally used with larger companies like a David Jones or Myer, and you can enter the department number using. Buyer is just a field, so you might be dealing with Mary Smith, and you could have that buyer's name on the sales order. Agent, you can see there's been an agent linked directly to the sales order that was probably set up, well, it was set up in the original customer record. However, you can change who the agent is here by just selecting another agent from the drop-down list. That agent is set up in suppliers, and again, it's probably worth another session to discuss how agents are set up and how you can run reports to gauge customer agent commission. So we might cover that in another session. Then we have comments. You can type some ad hoc comments here. Then at the style record, this is where we can start actually typing in what styles the customer is ordering. So we can click on the style record and we can choose a particular style, and then we can start, we're presented with a style color matrix. So here we can start putting in our quantities. Your tab key is your best friend here. If you press tab to move through the fields, it's by far the easiest way to go. You can press the shift tab key to go backwards. Down here you should be receiving a price. This particular style hasn't been set up with a price, but there should be a price automatically come through that is consistent with what the customer requires, and you can put either overtype that price or leave the default price set in there. And you repeat this for every single style. So I'll just do a couple there. So click save there, and you can see we're generating our sales order. On the right hand side we've got a couple of controls that I probably should talk about. This little pencil with an exclamation mark allows you to toggle to other parts of this order. If I click on it once, you can see there's special instructions there, and you can actually type in special notes about the item for this particular customer. Do not supply if not full breakdown is fulfilled, or something like that. Okay, so you can type whatever you like in there, and that will print out on the sales order. And also, if you want to, it can go through to the customers, go through to the purchase order, or the purchase order that you're creating to go off to a supplier later on. So it's quite a good field, and it also flows through to the customer's invoicing. Over here you have a little X with an arrow pointing to it. That's a delete. So if I wanted to delete that style, I could remove that style by clicking on that. If I click the little pencil again, you get a couple of other screens like the X tax rate and total here. Also over here you'll see you've got cutting, making on purchase order. Once there's been a production order created, depending on how you create your production orders, it could populate this field here, so you can come back into this sales order and actually see which cutting sheet or which purchase order has been generated against this particular sales order. Then if I click it again, it takes us back to where we left off. One more little thing, which is a nice little feature. See this little A to Z with a down arrow there? If I click on that, it allows me to sort the styles in a particular order. So if I was to actually add another one here, probably to illustrate this a little better. I'll click save there. If I click this little button there, you can see it's reordered them and put 0816 to the top of the list. Also down here in this blue area, you can see there's a US dollar amount. You can double click on that and you can go in there and add a discount percentage if one's not automatically been allocated. You can alter the exchange rate, because in this case it's a US dollar customer. And also you can add freight in, which happens not normally at the sales order stage, but sometimes it does. Normally you'll do something similar when you go to invoice the style. So click exit there. And then to print the purchase order out, you can do one or two things. You can either print it out or you can email it out if you want to. And you can choose either one of these options and then tick the print on close, and the system will print the sales order out.